Financial Sense Insider is a premium subscription service of PFS Group. The following is a free preview of today's insider interview.
Joining us on the show today is Jim Roemer. He's a commodity meteorologist and advisor to hedge funds, farmers, and also a company called Climatic Profits, where he applies a lot of his meteorological work towards trading and advising for commodities futures. And Jim, I think the big story right now is what's going on in oil. We have seen this week oil get to the mid-20s. I think we got to $26 per barrel this week. We're speaking on the 20th of January. So a lot of people are looking at oil in terms of what's going to happen with the overall market, fears related to emerging markets, a strong correlation between stocks and oil, as we've seen probably develop over the last year or two. How much of this is related to weather, and how much of it is just related to the fundamental backdrop that we see of oversupply and not enough demand?
Chris, I really did see this coming about a year ago when you first began to see OPEC not cutting production, trying to drive both Russia and the United States producers out of business. Now this deal with Iran, the sanctions ending over the last couple of months. And here in the United States, having the biggest supply since the 1960s, it's pretty obvious that this was going to actually happen, particularly when you see a lot of longs in the market. A lot of people that bought crude not getting out till recently. We like to look at commodities when there's a heavy long or short position, and then people usually run for the hills if the fundamentals justify that. So in the case of weather, it's not really been a big factor this winter or this year in crude, but a year ago it was in some respects. We had one of the coldest winters, 125 inches of snow in Boston a year ago during January through February. What you saw were the cracks and the spreads in heating oil actually working. Record cold weather, rivers freezing, even parts of the ocean seeing ice off the coast of Long Island and Boston. They couldn't deliver heating oil fast enough to the Northeast U.S., so we saw what was called a spread. Heating oil prices were going up, crude oil prices were going down, and this year is kind of the opposite. We've had a record warm winter in Europe, a warm winter in the East initially, and we've seen heating oil prices collapse relative to gasoline. More people actually driving because of the lack of snow and cold weather, but no demand for heating oil around the world. So there are ways to play the crude complex by doing these spreads.
I want to get to El Nino and some of the other weather-related impacts we see in the commodity markets going on right now. But before I do that, I want to ask you a little bit about some of the factors playing into oil, because I know you analyze oil and commodities from both the fundamentals perspective, and you look at the technicals, you look at market sentiment. We had spoken to Jim Bianco recently, and he had said that he really doesn't see a reversal in the price of oil from the lows until we see just a massive wave of bankruptcies and liquidations to take all that supply offline. And that's probably, more specifically here in the U.S. than anything when we're talking about all those shale producers. But, do you see any signs of capitulation? You talked about the number of shorts and the number of longs. I know that that's something that a lot of commodity analysts will look at to try to figure out, if whether or not we're kind of at a bottom. Do you see any signs of that currently?
Hi, everybody. John Leffler here. You've just been listening to a free preview of the Financial Sense Insider Premium Edition. Do you need help making sense of the market? You've heard the old adage, it's a jungle out there. Well, you can join our premium weekday service and you'll gain access to leading experts, analysts, and market technicians on what's driving the markets, the economy, and your future. You can get all of that by subscribing today at financialsense.com. That's Financial Sense, S-E-N-S-E, like you're trying to make sense of something, .com, and click subscribe to join our premium weekday service. You won't regret it.